the at least the panic and or the hoarding. And he said,
Yeah,
um,
inside.
he asked a question. It's like, if you ask the question, whose panic does this belong to? And if you say that it's, if it doesn't feel right and it feels like it's everybody else's panic, then it doesn't, you all of a sudden you start to feel calmer. And it just sort of made sense.
Yep.
I like that. Well, it is 12:02, and it looks like it is just 4 of us, 5 of us. So we've got Debbie by phone. Debbie, I muted you because we had some feedback on you. So I'm unmuting you for a second if you want to chime in. Amy's here, Rachel's here, Kathy's here. We're smaller.
Thank you. I'm driving. I'm out doing stuff, so sorry.
No problem, Debbie. I'll keep you unmuted for a little bit because there's only a few of us here today. I'd like to keep this momentum going every week for people to be able to jump in when they just feel like they need to jump in, question or an idea or a thought, or just to have human interaction. I think I'll continue to do this. So let's kind of just do a quick go around because we've only got a few of us here. Kathy and Amy have been here before, so let's start with you, Kathy, just to remind everybody who you are and what you do.
Sure. Kathy Strauss, and my business is ImageWorks. I'm a photographer and artist, and I'm located in Myrtle Beach.
Excellent. Thank you. Amy is back in the house. I'm trying to unmute you. Oh, there you go.
I'm muted now?
You're unmuted now.
Awesome. So my name is Amy Nowakoski. I've been in marketing and corporate communications for about 20 years. I'm formerly of New York, currently living in Florida. Yeah.
Awesome. Welcome back. Let's jump over to, I want to jump over to Debbie. I'm trying to unmute you, but I can't seem to unmute you. So something about the phone stuff.
Sorry.
So
Sorry, I had done it. So
no
I am
problem,
Debbie
no problem.
Falkowski. I am the director of Coastal Rescue Missions Beautiful Gate Lodge. We run a nonprofit women's shelter.
Oh, awesome. So. Thank you. Thanks, Debbie. And let's jump over to Gwen.
I'm trying, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, sorry. I know my video's not up there, but I'm trying to make sure I can, okay. I just got in here, so I don't know where everybody's at. I'm still trying to figure out if I'm even in the right meeting, but I am a small business owner down in Myrtle Beach. So where's everybody else at?
Most of us are in Myrtle Beach, except for Amy, who's in Florida.
Okay, great. So y'all are in Myrtle Beach. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, great. So I came to the right place. Yay.
Yay.
Yes. And I just literally got the invitation the other day, but I didn't get a chance to fully read. We're discussing small business owner stuff, that how we're being affected and such. Is that correct?
Yeah. So what we've been doing with this is just, it's more of a open forum. If you need an idea or can contribute an idea or have a question, just getting ideas from other companies and other businesses that might kind of inspire you because you're stuck in your own stuff. So you're in the right place. Gwen, can you tell us a little bit about your business?
So I own a cleaning business that's majority 90% from vacation cleaning. So we're not doing anything right now.
Okay, well, a lot of us feel that pain with you. So welcome to the call.
Thanks.
And Rachel, you want to chime in?
Oh, hey, can you hear me? Sorry, I was muted. Hey, I'm Rachel Pitts. I am with U.S. Mortgage, also a podcaster partnered with Gina, and have worked with Gina for a long, long time. I am still busy as a bee as far as mortgage, but I definitely wanted to be a part of this call for helping generate ideas and tips for mindset during this time, because it's real hard for everybody.
Awesome. Good. Let's start with mindset, if that works for everybody. How is everyone's head right now? Anybody want to? Oh, and just for newer people who are here, you can also use the chat box. So especially if you're new, if we don't have your information, like your email address or a little bit about you, you can put that in the chat box. Or if you want to ask me a question privately, or you want to share something with the group, we've been sharing ideas and website addresses and different things to help people. You can put that in the chat box. So let's jump in on mindset. How's everyone feeling with that?
There's your answer.
I feel pretty good.
Who was that? Who said that?
When my hope is obviously not in any kind of man-based thing, so I get my hope from the Lord. So and I don't hide from that, but I know sometimes it can get a little touchy. But I feel fine. I obviously I'm a little worried and concerned as to what this is going to look like in 2 months, and that. But I feel okay.
Good. Anybody else? I see Elena, you've joined us. Welcome back. Anybody else want to chime in on mindset? Kathy and I were talking about it a little bit earlier. I'm relying on, similar to Gwen, on the good Lord and meditation. And now I got the 90-day free Peloton app that has meditation on it and Dancercise. That's my that's what I'm using right now.
What, are you going to post any videos of yourself dancing? I mean,
well, it's funny you should ask, because Rachel and I are actually talking about some TikTok videos together.
Yeah.
And having her daughter actually direct them for us, because we think that would be humorous.
that's fun. I have not explored TikTok yet, and haven't. So I guess this might be the time to try to look at what it is. It's like my brain is going, I don't need one more thing in order to fill it.
Rachel, do you want to chime in about TikTok? And then I want Amy to talk a little bit about it too, from her social media background.
Yeah, well, here's what I think, going back to mindset. I really despise Facebook right now because I feel like there's a lot of negativity. There's a lot of misinformation, and there's a lot in it, and it's contagious. So I stay away from it because I feel like you can choose right now to freak out during this time, or you can choose right now to take it as an opportunity to work on yourself. All that time that we all wish we had to do the things, work on ourselves that we wish that we had, here you have it now. And I plan to come out of this having improved myself, rather than feel like I turn into a big fat slug sitting on the couch watching whatever that Tiger King bullshit is and eating potato chips. So I think I stay away from Facebook, and my daughter is 11 and she's really into TikTok. So I've been on TikTok for a long time because that's how I used to communicate with her. and it's actually just a lot of fun. It's fun. You don't have to. The thing that's really interesting about TikTok is, like, on Facebook and Instagram, everybody tries to look really good and put makeup on and be all fancy. But the thing about TikTok is a lot of people you'll see, celebrities and everything, will just be natural. Like the way that you look right now, if you're hiding from Zoom video like I am, and just how you look, and just have fun and do something that is fun. And that's why I've been checking out TikTok a lot, because it just brings me joy. And we need joy more than we need anything right now.
I
Well, then
gotta
I
tell you, TikTok cracks me up. I got addicted watching it last night. I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna stay right here in TikTok because it was so entertaining and cheerful.
Interesting. Although I just did post on my Facebook profile, we have a mama duck that has 11 babies, and she was roosting next to the fence. So my cell phone wasn't able to get as clear a shot. So ever the photographer went and grabbed my 200 millimeter lens and snapped pictures of the babies.
Nice. Nice. Amy, you want to chime in about TikTok? What's your thoughts on it?
So I have many thoughts on it. I think right now, being humans and business owners, social media is playing an interesting role in our lives. And like, I get the sense that, there's too much negativity on Facebook. I get all of that. And your experience of Facebook is really unique to the individual. For example, like, there's not a lot of negativity on my personal feed from Facebook right now, because that's
Exactly.
not what my friends and followers are putting out there. And so, like, social media is meant to connect individual people. So as a person, spending your time on TikTok and creating things that give you joy and are fun and are interesting, that's wonderful. And you have to look at it from a business perspective. I never recommend somebody start a new channel unless they are for business, unless they're 100% sure that they can make a return on that time investment or the money investment that they're going to put in. The majority of, there are people making tons of money on TikTok right now and using it in really interesting ways to promote their business. And for the majority of us, using something like TikTok, which is fairly new, as a business tool, as a marketing tool, is in the rough stages right now. So if you're going to be on social media for your mindset, for communicating with people, for having fun, for creating joy, for getting information, that's really separate from what you want to create as a business.
Well, let me ask you this. Great feedback on that. Who is making money on TikTok? Because now I'm just curious.
Yeah, it's a lot of, I see a lot of, I'm not, like, I watch TikTok video compilations, like on YouTube or on Facebook, but the people who claim to be making a lot of money are people who are selling things to a younger demographic. So t-shirt manufacturers claim that they're making tons of money with TikTok. There's also a lot of people who are using TikTok to amplify other channels where they make money. So like then sending people onto YouTube where they are then generating ad revenue from YouTube views. I haven't seen a lot of brick and mortar businesses use TikTok effectively. I haven't seen a lot of tourist attraction, your mom and pop shops use TikTok effectively yet. Right? You could be the person who breaks out and creates a really great effect on it.
Well, now you got me curious, because it's one thing I talked to Rachel about in promoting our podcast, but also promoting our existing Facebook platform that has a lot of followers. And our demo is definitely not a younger demo. It's an older female demo, but a lot of that demo are moms on TikTok. Working moms on TikTok. What are your thoughts on something like using that platform to promote another platform to create the more followership?
Sure, you can using an up and coming platform to promote things that you're doing elsewhere is perfectly fine, right? I think I don't know that TikTok is in a place where you can dial in your metrics as you can on other platforms like YouTube or even the podcast platforms, where you can see demographic information about who is following you and if this is actually worth your time. I would say certainly test it, right? If you think, because a lot of kids are on TikTok, a lot of parents are then on TikTok, and you can leverage that connection into your podcast followers, go for it. Completely 100% try it. And know that it's an experiment. It may not generate any ROI, any return on your investment of time.
Yeah. Excellent.
But
Thank
like
you.
with anything new, I mean, you could even say that about billboards. You know, can you really track the
Yeah.
ROI of a billboard?
Mhm.
How do you track the ROI of something like a TikTok that goes viral? It's very hard without having the years upon years of metric information that Twitter and Facebook and even like Pinterest and Instagram have built into their platforms because business users use it so heavily.
Thank
But
you.
like, here's the thing that I want, I think we're in a time of crisis, right? And you can look at it from a panic mindset, or you can look at it from an opportunity mindset. I think right now is a really interesting opportunity for small business
Mhm.
owners to perhaps they have a little more free time on their hands, so they can start checking things off on that marketing checklist that they have, that dream checklist that lives in the when I have time world. So if you have been putting off blogging or creating an ebook, now that you might
Or
have a little
writing a
time
book.
right in your space, you can create those kind of marketing opportunities with this little extra time that you've been forced to accept as a gift. You know, and if that for you looks like experimenting with TikTok or a new social media platform, great, you have the time, and there isn't like the cost benefit analysis there, because this might be more time on your hands, is better than doing it in a crunch when it's tax
Mhm.
time and you're trying to make that final check to pay your taxes.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense. Thanks
Yeah,
for that.
and I generally caution small business owners who are doing the majority of their marketing themselves, or maybe with a small team, that should you do all the social media out there? Maybe, but in general, focus on the one that you enjoy most, because if you enjoy creating that marketing content, the people who consume it are going to enjoy it. If you don't enjoy being on camera, TikTok is not the place for you.
Yeah. No kidding. Yeah, for sure.
I agree. One thing that Rachel and I have noticed on our podcast is that we've had some great content and images on Instagram, but we don't have engagement, whereas we have more of it on Facebook than we do. So it is about picking the right platform to spend your time on.
Interesting. No, I actually taking this time to get myself really, or I should say this, where the photography has kind of slowed down. The art classes and stuff like that I've done over the years. It's now is the time to get them up on my website and to get them going on an online way. So I've got one getting ready to launch hopefully this week if I can get out of my own way, but it's basically just getting all of the syllabus and the materials and everything like that all set. So I'm doing that now. If I can get the rest of them done, and I've got people that are messaging me daily going, I want you to do more art classes online. So that's
Kathy,
basically
what is your process and platform for getting your classes online?
right now. The process is going to be on Zoom with a Facebook group. I've had my mentor with the creativity. She taught everything online using both Zoom and uh, a Facebook group. She uses Teachable. I have right now it's very expensive. But for the pro, it's like $150 a month in order to get your classes, and those are just standalone classes. They are not interactive, and the things that I like to do are more interactive. Like I'm in person, I'll be holding people's hands, or not holding their hands, but showing them how to do things via paintbrush. So I can do that better on Zoom, and I'll go from there. But right now, it's going to be a Facebook group. We're a private Facebook group, and people can upload things there, and then obviously Zoom where I can share a screen, show people what to do, et cetera, et cetera.
How
And
are
I'm
you?
getting-
How are you charging and handling that back end piece of getting people to pay and then giving them access?
So what I am doing is I'm doing a 3-tier option right now with with COVID happening. Like for example, my storytelling with photos, which is photography composition. Normal for a 4-week class would be $222. So because I know people, money is tight, etc. If they want to participate, I give them an option of you can either pay me 50%, $111, you can pay me 60%, or you can pay me 50%. You're still going to get the same class and still the same thing. So, it's a pay your own pay what you wish. It's there's a platform called the Daily Ohm, and she too does a pay what you feel like you can pay. So
Yeah, they use the Daily Ohm uses that kind of donation, choose your donation kind of
mhm,
payment, which I think is pretty cool.
right. So and some things I'll offer for free. Little things. But other than that, this is my time to finally get my act together and get
Yeah.
things online. So I have a friend who's actually going to have a membership. She's getting a membership subscription together for one of her things that she does. And I'm kind of thinking that it might work for another one of my workshops that I've had stuck up here that's finally going to get down on the keyboard and into the computer.
There's someone just made this suggestion to me. That's why I was asking about platforms because
Mhm.
I used Kajabi for a while, which was like insanely expensive, and I just I dropped it because I couldn't afford to do it anymore. It's like $200 a month.
Hmm.
But Zenler, Zenler.
Okay. Zenler.
Zenler.
Okay.
They have it's $447 for the year.
Mhm.
And then they've got like a premium version too. I haven't had a chance to fully check it out, but it's not as robust as a Kajabi. And if you don't want to use something as robust as a Kajabi, because Kajabi's got everything in it from
Right.
the email platforms to, everything's in it.
Right.
But 447 is, I think, way better than $200 or $150 a month.
God. Yeah.
So
no.
I did a huge survey of teaching platforms last year for a client,
cool.
and Teachable is the platform that I currently recommend to people, and it's
Mhm.
not that expensive. The basic platform starts at $30 a month, and that allows you the ability to take credit card transactions from your students. There's some limited marketing things that are available to you, and you can upgrade and downgrade at any time. So their price tiers are $29 a month billed annually, $79 a month, and $399 a month for an enterprise package. So if you are, again, this is like an ROI thing. If your courses are more than $29 a month and you only have to register one person to make it free, that's definitely something to look at. I've not heard of Zenler, and I can totally check it out and give you my opinion after the fact. But Teachable is a really interesting option for people who want to move into the course, like offering online courses that
Mhm.
are the self-study variety. It's a little more difficult if you want to have a live interactive course.
Yeah.
It's possible, but it's Teachable is not really designed specifically for that.
Okay.
I just helped somebody who there was a demand for her to revive an old course that she taught, and there are a couple things that you have to take into consideration if you're moving to online classes. And stop me if this information isn't valuable to you.
No, this is awesome.
This is good.
You have to consider how you're going to market it, how you're going to accept payment, And then how are you going to control who gets what information? Those are the three things that you have to take into consideration in delivering your course, right?
Right.
You can jerry-rig it and do it all manually, except a PayPal transfer or who I just helped recently. She has Acuity, so she's accepting payments through Acuity, and is hosting her course in Trello, which is a project management tool. And she has we figured out how to build in different modules and how to note when you've completed a module so that she knows you've done your homework and you know you've done your homework and you know where you are in the process. So if you want to teach courses online, you don't necessarily have to use an online course platform. You can host a course in a Facebook group, which is completely free. And if you have specific questions about that, we can totally brainstorm out what your different options are, and whether or not it makes sense for you to actually pay for an online course platform.
Okay, Amy, I'm gonna need a phone call with you.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Generally, here's my best advice, whether you're doing an online course or whatever it is that you're approaching, look at it kind of like pretend it's spread out on the table and look at it from the top. What are the functionality things that you need? One is taking payment. How are you going to get people to pay for your course? Then there's student management, right? And then there's information, like how are you going to push information out? How does that information have to live for people? So you want to look at those different mechanisms. Which ones are important to you? Which features are nice to have but aren't great? Like Teachable has the ability in one of their tiers to offer certificates. Do you want to have people have a certificate to take home if they've completed all the assignments, completed all the quizzes, right? Is that something that you don't care about? We look at the functionality and then decide what it is you actually want. It's kind of like buying a car. Do you really need real teak wood interiors? Do you really need premium leather seats? Right? Do you need heated car seats? Look at the functionality that you actually need and then try and match that with the different tools that live out there. Teaching platforms are great because it's all in one. It takes care of your payment. It takes care of your marketing. It's all grouped together. In some instances, you can get email marketing from it too. But do you really need that? Right now, I suggest you move faster. And if moving faster means adopting a platform, great. If moving faster means not adopting a platform and using what you have, that's also great.
My coach told me she's kicks my butt every day going, how fast are you? What have you done? Where are you? Stop slowing down, et cetera, et cetera. So yes, moving faster is very true. I just checked out the ad that was in the Debbie had posted the Allison.com. Yeah. Very, very interesting. Again, almost like a diplomas or certificates and stuff like that. And I'm looking at it more on the art side. It's probably going to be more of the Teachable. So just to tell you with the Teachable, I sat in on about 50% of the quote unquote sales pitch that the owners on Teachable did. It's the current fees, $29 for the basic, $79 and $399 are all going up April 1st. And so that's where I said the $150. If you sign up for the $79 right now before the 1st, like between today and tomorrow, it will remain $79 and it will remain that $79. If you decide that you do not want it, then it's going up to $150 a month. They believe and they were preaching the old get rich, I'm going to pay, I'm going to make a lot of money, I'm going to pay, I'm going to make a lot of money with the whole webinar, and it was driving me nuts.
Amy, are you familiar with Allison.com?
I'm not.
That's the first time I'm hearing of it.
Me also. Another great platform for you to check out, which has its own Udemy.
Hey, do you
So
want me
like
to give?
Academy, but with a U in front of it. Udemy is also another really
yeah.
great platform.
Yeah, Udemy, I've heard.
They have their own. It's like a marketplace. So there are people who are loyal to that platform of Udemy and will shop for courses on Udemy. And it does come with its own just kind of like Etsy is a marketplace, right? Etsy has a brand name. Etsy has the power to attract people. The same thing with Udemy.
Debbie, did you want to say something about Allison?
Yeah, and I can actually say something about Udemy too. So here at the shelter, we actually use both platforms for some of our classes. Our girls, they have to take life skills classes and things like that to help them get back out into society. And I have actually, it took a couple of days for me because I was having to do it in between other things, but I have actually become certified and been accepted through Allison to create my own classes now through them. It's not a hard process. If I had the free time I have now, I could have gotten it done in a day. And it explains all the steps to do it. They review your stuff, they give you pointers. And it actually can be a great source because you can also include in there if you have other courses or other platforms, you can link all that to it and include it as part of your course. Udemy is also great. And what I've found, especially with my girls, is they've actually taken some of the free courses through both of them, but then gone on and purchased other ones that were made by the same person that made one of the free ones because they liked their instruction and they learned a lot from them. So offering a free class on one of those as well as paid classes, you can have, you can expand your horizon.
Yeah, I think that's kind of like Canva, not Canva, Fiverr, where you can kind of get something a little inexpensive, but then you can continue to work with someone and spend more money with them.
Right. And that's like, this is a little bit of a, like, rather than a 101 level conversation, this is like a 201 conversation about how to use courses and specifically Udemy as a marketing platform in and of itself to promote other things. If you can generate a hit on Udemy, that in and of itself can generate money, and then you can create it and try to move your audience to another location. There's been a lot of success in Udemy around that. Less so with Teachable, because that's not how Teachable is set up. Teachable is not set up as a marketplace. Teachable is set up as a, like, you don't go to Teachable and then search for other courses, right? You go to Gina's Teachable to receive Gina's information. And if she's got other courses, you can certainly see them, but you can't like shop for other like improv and sales courses. That's not how Teachable is set up.
Yeah.
And there's pros and cons to like to all of that. That if you want to talk more in depth and how that applies to you personally, I'm certainly willing to have that conversation.
Cool. We will be having that conversation. See, I knew there was something you could help me with. I hadn't quite figured out what it was yet. Elena, do you have any questions you have today, or thoughts or feelings?
Thoughts. I'm really happy that I jumped on the class discussion, because the only thing that, well, besides Zoom, where you do one-on-one or one-on-group, and that's what I'm using right now with everybody. I just use Zoom. But the only thing that I had tried before was Thinkific, and now I'm learning about all of these other platforms. So I'm gonna go look at all of them and see how they are. But right now, I mean, it's kind of the same experience that Kathy was talking about with Zoom interaction. I don't have a lot of a client base for classes. I'm just trying to think about options to take my business off of the real life interaction into into the online world. And, you know, I'm a commercial photographer. I usually go to industrial plants or I go to car races, sport events. So with none of that, I'm trying to figure out, okay, there's no racing for the next 4 months. Possibly the Indy 500 at the end of August if it does happen. But until then, there's nothing. Of course, nobody wants you to travel to their industrial plant or their business for photos right now because it's not safe and not allowed. So where do I move my business now? So I've been trying to kind of reach out to people saying, hey, where are you? Like, what's your situation? What do you need help with? And I've had a couple of people pick me up, you know, take me up on the idea, let's have a cup of coffee conversation over Zoom. Can you help me, like, teach me how to do some things by myself from a distance so that I can get some Instagram photos for my new product or improve, you know, what my marketing person did yesterday, because it's like, you can't come here, but can you tell me what to do? So that's been kind of a few conversation, and I've done them over Zoom. And now I'm thinking, well, could that help more people? Like putting maybe stock photography out there, or
I think she froze.
Yes, she
Freeze?
did.
Okay.
Yeah, she did.
She'll unfreeze for that. Was going to be my when she pops back, and this would be a question for you too, Kathy.
or things like
There she is.
done for you.
Oh,
I think we lost her again.
oh, there you are.
There she is. She's moving around.
Okay.
One of my questions was for photographers: is stock footage an option of something you could sell?
Absolutely. That is actually something that I started working on that, like, well, gosh, I want to say 10 years ago. A fellow photographer who was doing quite well with stock photography, but she was also traveling the world. And this is all the photography that she would put up and she would sell. I had another photographer friend out in Colorado who was also doing some traveling around, but she became very, very good at the food photography. And to the point where all of us that are friends of hers all consider that what she posts and creates food porn. So it's, you know, it's like that yummy and that good, makes your mouth water. But I had a conversation with a local digital marketing friend here. She's helping me with my website, just tweaking it a little bit. And she told me, she said, wait a minute, you've got a stock site? And I'm going, yeah. I said, surprise, surprise, I actually got some money from Getty last October, and I didn't even know that I had it had been active. So she said, do you still have photos? And I'm going, I've got a ton. She said, get them up there. She said, everybody is looking for these things. So besides the classes, I have all of that, and it's my usual, I'll go down.
Stock photography is a great option for photographers right now. It takes a little bit of time and effort to like set up your account, upload things, properly tag them. That is going to be crucial for you. And you have to think like a purchaser, not as a photographer when you create your tags for your photographs.
Yeah.
So do a lot of research. What's popular, what's not popular, and now's a great time since you have time on your hands to do that kind of minutia work, right?
Yeah.
Another thing you can think about as a photographer, if you've worked with businesses, just like you said, you had like Skype coffee dates with people about how they can do their own photography. Offer a live conversation with them while they're taking photographs so that you can help them set up their shot, create the lighting inside their shot while they're taking their own product photographs, so that their end result will be better with you looking over their shoulder. That's another thing that you can offer as a service in this time, instead of taking the photographs yourself.
Yeah, no, that's actually a really good idea. That's it's very similar to this, what I'm doing with this storytelling, or I call it creative storytelling with photos. It's all about photo composition and it's using the design principles, et cetera, et cetera. I used to teach it when I was back up in Virginia, and very successful. I just didn't. I was doing all of my other stuff and and now of course it's like time to revive it. I mean, 7 years ago, I told my husband, I said, this would be really cool to put up online. And he's going, well, whenever you have time, do it.
Isn't that the Rachel had talked about that earlier. We have the time now, and it sounds like we've all had that thing that we wanted to launch that we never got around to launching. Like,
Right.
I've been putting off the online stuff for years, along with a book.
I did the book. I did the 2 books. Actually, where is my thing? I've got to grab it from over here. And I did it. It's like this is mine, and this is very apropos. I just have not done a lot of marketing on it right now. It's on Amazon.
Well, I mean, and that's a really good point. I think that's what always holds me back, and I'm sure Amy will have things to say on this. What holds me back is not creating it and getting it up. It's the marketing of it, because you can't just create it and go. You
Yep.
have to actually market it and push it out, which is, to me, more work than the actual creation of it.
Yes, I've always told everybody, they're going, oh, your stuff is so good. We didn't know that you did all of this stuff. Oh, yes, I've been doing it. And then all of a sudden I see somebody else doing it down the line, and I'm going, well, I should have been doing that. I've always been the proverbial plumber, fixing everybody else's leaks other than my own.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
it's, enough is enough. So that's what I'm working on. So I took this weekend to weed my my patch that has 2 blueberry bushes in it. So playing in the dirt was very therapeutic.
Yeah, the marketing of a thing is often more arduous than the actual creation of the thing. And my best advice there is, like, build that audience before you have something to launch.
Yeah.
Like Gina, if you wanted to launch an online course on, I don't know, I'm picking this out of my head, like how to be a boss and use improv, right? Whatever it is, start talking about that right now. Be like, send me if you want information about when this course launches, send me your name. Keep those all in a separate thing. Don't necessarily do anything with them or market them, but like, just actively talk about the stuff that you're doing. And I think this gives us a really great opportunity, again, like crisis or opportunity, to be really open about the new things that we're doing, and rather than keeping it behind the veil because someone else is going to steal your great idea.
Oh, well, that's why I'm not telling anybody.
No,
you guys
totally
right here.
talk
You
about
guys,
it right
yeah,
now.
right here.
Like, the more you can talk about it now, and the more you can generate interest and excitement on something that's coming, even if the coming is 2 months away. Like, we have to, I personally believe, from my own mindset worldview, that what's coming next, we really need to end the competition conversation. You have peers who are out there who are doing the same stuff that you are. That's great. That's fine. That's awesome. They're peers. They're not your competitors. And I'm really sensitive to language of domination and warfare inside marketing right now, like crushing your competition. I think as we move into the next phase of what our life's going to look like, that's going to become increasingly toxic for people as we exit a crisis.
Absolutely.
So, like, take on collaboration in a new way that you may have never done in your business before. Because once we all get back to making money is abundant.
Well, we have 2 photographers here, right, on this call alone that could bounce off of each other. I've always been on the collaborative side of doing things.
Oh, yeah,
that's our
absolutely.
That's our improv nature of doing things. I partner with my competitors, and I don't even consider them competitors. I consider them partners, because nobody does what I do the way I do it. Period.
Exactly.
Community versus competition.
Yeah, everybody can say that about
Yeah.
themselves. Nobody does it the way you do it.
That's exactly right. No, my 64 years, and I started off in that very competitive mindset. It was like, I need to be doing this, and I've had my coach beat it out of my head right now. But before moving down here, I had several photographers, and like a photographer to photographer, we get booked and somebody comes to us and we can't do it. We need to be able to hand it off, trusting that it's going to get done right, and we can make money at that too, because we could be hiring you to do it. And that's what happened down, and I moved down here and trying to find that, the people that I trust. And very honestly, I had several photographers shoot me down going, oh no, I can't. Oh, I'm on my own. And I'm going, I don't know who the hell you are, but I don't want to deal with you. So I want to meet people that I can work with or go out and shoot with, or, just have fun, bounce ideas off of. It's very, very, it's therapeutic for me. And Amy, you are very correct. It's like we have got to get the word out. And actually, it's very funny, as I'm sitting here, I just got a message from one of my chamber ambassador cohorts, and his mom is an artist, and there's a group of us that have always monthly gotten together as a critique group, like, what are you working on and what can we do to improve and all that type of stuff. And he's going, are you putting a Zoom group together for all of the artists this month? He said, my mom wants to join. Okay, well, might as well just put it out there.
Is that Peter Goodman?
Yes.
Yeah, I had a feeling.
Yeah, well, his mom had tried to talk me into doing a group for artists in business, or artists, we had to think of ourselves as small business owners. And actually, that is another thing that's been in the back of my mind. Of course, I was so busy. It's like, I just don't have the mindset, and not the mindset, I just didn't have the time to do it. And it was like just one more thing for me to go off down the squirrel path. And I'm just, not going to do that. If I was to do something like that, it would be, I'd have to pull in people like you guys in order to be the mastermind. How do we get ourselves out there?
Yeah. And that's all doable.
I think the squirrel path, I think, is something that we need to particularly pay attention to right now. Like, because the buffet has opened up before us, right? Like, there's more possibility because of the time that we have on our hands. And if you go in fast and hard and fill your plate too full, it's going to be hard to squeeze that little dumpling or that shrimp cocktail in there. So I get really intentional. I'd be open to possibility, but get really intentional about what you want to create.
Yeah, no, and I get that, and it's I gotta finish my own stuff first right now. I'll probably do a Zoom and host it, and I'll have all of the the older generation of the photographers, the artists that now's the time to get it out there. Hi, it's time to photograph all of your work. You've got to learn how to photograph your work. Elena, you and I could probably figure out how to write up, how do you photograph your artwork? You need to get it online.
Right.
Yeah, that's a big issue for a lot of, I was talking yesterday to a friend of mine. She does painting, sculptures, installations, and that's what we were talking about. She was like, I need to put my things online now because now I can't do expos, I can't do art shows, so I need to do that. And there's a lot of people that need to transition to that online world. But yeah, I agree with Amy. I mean, thank you for the pointers on marketing, but also on the idea, hey, now you have the time to do things. Like I put up a stock website 2 years ago and I haven't marketed it yet. So now it's probably time to
there you go. It's time to do it.
Right now, maybe I should get to it. Right, Amy?
Right. And like I really invite you to think about collaboration and partnership in a really new way. I'm doing that myself with a fiction project that I'm working with, where we've gone into this and have said that this is how I'm contributing to the project, this is how you're contributing to the project, and in the end, if there's any money, it gets split 50-50, right? And inside of that, it took a lot, like there was a lot of transformation that had to happen over here with me to be, to open up my creative space to allow someone else to play in it, right? Like we were arguing about, how this one scene happened in this fiction project, and she was advocating for a change in how that happened. And I had to step away from our interaction and come back to it the next day and be like, you know what, I don't agree, but this is a collaboration. So I'm gonna take on your point of view. And yes, I basically yes and her, if you listen to Gina's stuff. And I had to put aside all of my ego, all of my artistic, you know, my word choice is better than your word choice stuff to make a collaboration actually happen, you know. And I think that coming next, if we can do more of that kind of work in collaboration, where it is equal partnerships and we don't get into the, well, I worked 0.2 more hours than you did on this project, so I should get paid more idea around it. I just have this gut feeling that that's what is going to have us pull through all of this together.
So back to my yes and training ideas.
Exactly.
Gina
Exactly.
is the boss.
There you go.
You know, like Gina, I think it would be great for you and even Carolina Improv to do a whole yes and experiment. Like, how do you live with roommates or other people in quarantine and use yes and
Oh,
solve crises?
well, that's a
Oh,
good
that
one.
would be awesome.
You know.
Ooh.
And like, think of it this, like, here's another thing, like that's a great marketing thing that you can do, right? To keep Carolina Improv alive and give them content. But if you think about micro courses, like YouTube photographers to get together and say, all right, we're going to create a course on how to photograph artwork. You take sculpture, you take pictures on a wall, create like a fact sheet on how to do those two things, and then sell the course together, split the proceeds, make it really a low dollar amount so that, like $10, any artist or any person who's photographing stuff to sell online can purchase it easily, readily. It's easily consumable. You split the work to create it and then to market it, and then if there's any profits, like you can split that evenly. Like, that's the kind of collaboration that I'm talking about. Is
And
your
Elena,
unique...
I already have, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I already have a resource list.
Right. But like, if you can find the right person to mesh together, divide and conquer, and create things faster at really approachable price points, I know your work and your talent is worth hundreds of dollars an hour. And when you're trying to leverage something like a passive income thing like a course, you can take the risk and make it a lower dollar amount so that it's consumable by more people than a higher dollar amount thing that's only consumable by a small number of people.
I don't know if this helps, but I'm from Houston. I think Gina knows I'm from Houston. Right now, I'm stuck in Washington State because I go back and forth, and all this down crisis happened when I was up near Seattle. So I'm near Seattle for the next few months. But originally, I'm from Houston. And one thing that maybe it helps as a concept because it reminds me of what Gina was saying about the Daily Om website. But one thing I did when Harvey happened is I was working with a lot of oil plants and industries down in West Texas and everywhere around Houston too. So the energy corridor and so on, and a lot of small businesses. And with Harvey, a lot of them, especially the marine industry, they got flooded, all of their shops were destroyed, and their last thought was photography. And the one thing I put out, and I was traveling back from Boston the day before the hurricane, so it was really last minute. But as soon as the roads were clear after Harvey, I put out a message like on, I think it was on Twitter, saying, hey, Houston, we're still here. If you need help, we'll get there somehow, with a boat, with a car, however we get there, with a horse, I don't care, but we'll get there to help you. Don't worry about paying. you pay what you can pay. And I had people that literally said, I can't give you any money today, but I would need help with these, photos for insurance, whatever, documentation, things like that. Or I can give you $50. And I was like, it's fine. Whatever you can do, it's fine. I'll come and help you. 3 or 4 months later, I've had checks coming in the mail saying, hey, you helped me after the hurricane. I got the check for my insurance. I think this was the appropriate amount that I should have paid you 3 months ago. And it's like, I never gave them an invoice or anything other than, if they give me $50, I give me the invoice for $50.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But it's like, then I had people that were like, no, I know what you usually charge. So I got the check from the insurance. Here it is. So people don't forget what you do if you help them.
Yeah.
It's not just, about the money. It's more keep the relationship because they might need help.
Yeah. No.
And I went to a site where they didn't need help with photos much rather than for insurance. They needed more help of put down a dry suit and help me dig my equipment out of the water. And I did that and helped them. And we all dug stuff out of the water for 5 hours. And, if you think about it, it's not technically your job, right? But it's sort of a pay it forward. I mean, you help somebody and then those
Well,
are
yeah.
relationships.
Mm-hmm.
It's human beings are wired to reciprocate in many instances when they feel like you've done something good for them. There's this reciprocation of like, I don't want to call it a guilt, but you feel like you want to give back when you're able to give back.
And I think in general, most people want to keep their proverbial book straight. Like when Superstorm Sandy hit and it like devastated the area where my parents live, FEMA was there handing out free dinners, free lunches, hot meals, and all the neighbors came out and stood around and chit-chatted around the FEMA truck, and nobody accepted a free meal. We're like, we're okay. There's other people who are suffering worse than us.
Yeah.
So why don't you go to them, right? And these are people who had 12 feet of water in their home, had no electricity, no heat. It's now November, right? There were no grocery stores open. There was nothing. Like they lost everything and said, no, there's other people who are more worse off than me. Another story from Sandy is like our local 7-Eleven. They had no electricity, so they ran a generator to make coffee and make ice, and that's all they had. They were all their shelves were bare, but they kept coffee and ice going. And because there was no electricity, they did all of their stuff, all of their math by hand, right? They only took cash and just ran tabs for people. They had a book that had your name or their nickname for you because they had their own nicknames. Like my dad was Boss, right? And they just ran a tab and said, when the lights come back on, come settle up. And that's remembered to this day. That kind of, and everybody like settled up. Nobody wanted to take advantage of the situation because like they got, I think in general people get when someone's doing them a good and want to make sure that good is righted at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They're all good ideas.
Well, we're right at the 1 hour mark. I like to keep us at the 1 hour. Again, I think even though this was a small group, I think there were some really good ideas, discussions, things to think about. So I think there was some value there. I'll continue this weekly call if people are, want to jump on when they can jump on, because I do think it stimulates ideas to keep moving forward.
No, very helpful.
Good. Amy, what's your schedule on Wednesday?
I don't have anything that I can't move until the evening.
Okay, well, Wednesday is the first day that kind of opens up for me, so I'm saying it here so it forces me to be held accountable to meet with you on Wednesday to brainstorm some of my online stuff.
Sure.
Cool. And actually, I'm putting my website in the chat box. Yep. Okay.
Good.
Yeah, if you guys want to like bounce ideas off of someone and help you eliminate some of the possibilities that you might be dancing in, totally like tag me in Gina's group and we can set up a quick chat about that.
Okay.
Definitely. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you
No
very
problem.
much.
And Kathy, if you have ideas, I have a friend gave me a site of resources and grants and things for photographers. I'll put it in the group
Hmm.
if you want to
Okay.
take a look.
Yeah, that would be
Awesome.
great. Cool.
Awesome. Okay, everyone. Thank you. Amy, you and I will talk on Wednesday. Otherwise, I'll see you guys next Monday.
All right.
Bye.
See ya.
Have a
Bye-bye.
wonderful day.
Okay,
Be
bye.
safe.